it's gonna go your way. Hey, hey, it's a brand new day. Hey, 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 it's a brand new day.
Welcome back to Marbella Now. My name is Nicole King, and this week we've come again to Aloha, one of the most established areas in Marbella, where you can find Velvet, this fabulous restaurant, piano bar, lounge. One of the only places in Marbella with a beautiful piano and a pianist to accompany while you dine. And like in Marbella, you never know who you're going to meet. I bumped into the lovely Hannah Lopez from Talk Radio Europe last week, Lisa Marie Robinson, a fabulous yoga diva from the beach, and so many people come to Velvet. This area is very popular. It's a great place to come out in an evening. I hope to see you here too. In the meanwhile, let's get started with this week's show.
Hey, hey.
Tony Bryant might not have a face that you recognise, but I bet you've read many of his columns in the Sur newspaper. Welcome to Marbella Now. Pleasure to actually meet you.
And you too, Nicole. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. It's funny because you don't realise how often we read a publication and you like what's written, but very rarely do we actually look to see who the article's written by. But when I heard that we were going to be welcoming Tony to the programme, I was like, oh gosh, this is a name I do know. You love music, you follow all the charities, and you're very into Spain.
Yes, very much so. If I might just say about the newspaper, one of the things I hate is when they put my picture at the top of the article, so you don't often get it because I normally take it out. But yes, I've been here 24 years. I was a musician in England. I grew up in the 80s on the fantastic music scene that existed in London at the time. I grew up with punk rock and everything.
Really, I like punk rock, and I used to like to go up to Chelsea and
oh wow, King's Road,
hang out, and it was fascinating. Yeah. So you were one of them that I used to go and look at.
Yes, I had hair then, you see, so I used to dye it, and my mother said that's why it all fell out.
I was thinking the same thing as a mother. It's like,
yes,
see, you don't listen.
Well, we used to bleach it every week for a different colour. But no, I grew up on the music scene. I was quite lucky because I was in a Tuppenny Halfpenny bands, but we got to do some fabulous support.
What was the name of your band?
They were called Paris Gun, but we actually did a mini tour with The Clash. We supported Ian Dury. We got on all these wonderful gigs because of our singer was quite well known in the music business, so we used to get to see gigs. So that's how I started. When I arrived in Spain, '94, the music scene had died in England. I wanted to concentrate on writing because that's always been a passion. The music always seemed to get in the way, and so I came here thinking, well, I'll have a year, I'll sort myself out, get my writing started and go back to England, and I never did.
Any of the punk rocker still left in you?
I think so, yeah, you never get rid of that.
Once a punk rocker, always a punk rocker?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it we grow up, you know, and when we're anarchists, when we're 16 and that, we think we're going to change the world, but of course it doesn't happen. But there's still a part of me. I love the raw energy that punk rock had, and I love the fact that it gave people like me, I mean I was 17 when punk rock exploded, it gave us a chance for us to feel like we could be someone, whereas before you had to be Paul McCartney or Mick Jagger to be on telly. Punk rock came and just changed the whole face of music, so it was a great time.
The YouTube of its day, opening up the world to be able to be more expressive.
Yes, I mean today the kids have got it easy because to make a record you only need a laptop, but we used to, I don't know, we'd spend a week in the studio doing a demo tape. You know,
and such fun doing it.
Yes, it was great. It was good because I think when you're in a band, you're like a family. So you spend so much time with each other. I mean, there was 5 of us travelled around the country in an old transit van, as you did, sleeping in the back, and it was a good time. But I think I got to a stage, I was 30 when I came here, or 32, I think, and I'd had enough then, being the rock star sort of thing, the fun had worn off. So.
A time and a place for everything, no? We grow up and tastes change.
I mean, just to be honest, Nicole, I've still got friends in England who still have their hair like Maurice. I mean, I'm mid-50s and they're the same age, and they're still punk rockers, you know. It's like the Teddy Boy scene and the mods, you know. There's always a few that are still around, still enjoy what they do, and fair play to them, you know, why not?
We're very lucky because on the coast we have a lot of new, raw musical talent. A lot of people come here, a lot of performers, as Mel Williams says, nearly famous, you know, travelled and performed with legends in their own right, and yet end up playing in Marbella, which there can be a lot of worse things, because for the community that lives here, you enjoy promoting that talent. Is it because you feel that empathy, knowing what it's like?
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, I mean, that's one of the great things about working for the newspapers. I do get to meet loads and loads of musicians and artists and all sorts of people. And like you say, some of them have been gigging on the coast for years and years and years. And then you sit down and speak to them and find out what they actually did before and who they'd played with. And it's fabulous. And I obviously, the younger talent, I've always sort of tried to promote them as best I can, because there are some very good musicians on the coast, very good artists, not just musicians. There's artists of all sorts, and they don't always get the publicity they need, and some are very, very good. So just my little bit in the newspaper, if it gets them a gig or gets them somebody turn up to one of their gigs, then that's great, you know. I'd like to do a lot more for them, but it's you can't look after everybody, you know, but there is a lot of good talent on this coast.
We were saying before that you've been here since 1994, and we often comment that those of us who arrived before 94 speak Spanish, and those after 94 not so much, if at all. And it came up that although a lovely Tony's here from 94, on that cusp, you kind of haven't really got a grip, but your passion for Spain itself, I think, compensates, because you love Andalusia, the history of Andalusia, and your latest book, the fourth book, which is no mean feat, is, I think, a really insightful peek into the whole history that brought us where we are today, and why Marbella on the Costa del Sol is like it is.
Yeah, I mean, the Andalusia got fabulous and interesting history, you know, and one of the, I got into flamenco many years ago when I came out with being a musician. It was almost inevitable that I would come across flamenco, and that was the thing that started it, because, as we just said, when I came, I was a musician. I didn't really like the musical scene in 1994. My Spanish was atrocious, and some friends took me to see some flamenco. To cut a very long story short, I was fascinated with it. And I did start to learn Spanish, because in that circle, in that sector, it's not only do you need to learn Spanish, you need to learn Andalusian. And when you're mixing with the gypsy community, then you need to learn that as well. So, you know, the Spanish in Andalusia is totally different than it would be in Madrid. So I did try to learn, but it was a learning process all the way through. And while I was researching flamenco, all these things kept popping up, little legends and myths, and of course I come from a Romany background. My maternal family were Romany travellers, and so I was brought up in a very superstitious family. We believed every and I still do some of them, every superstition under the sun.
So you do walk under ladders and all these kind of things.
You know, hat on the bed and all this. And my mother and my grandmother lived in fear of these things, so it had an effect on us as kids. And of course, when I came here, I thought, wow, this is just like being at my grandmother's house, because of all these, and the gypsy community were wonderful because they just fed me so much information.
They're so warm, they're so open.
Yeah, you know, Nicole, one of the things people ask to me is, oh, how was you accepted by the gypsies? Because there's still a stigma attached to the word gypsy. And even though there are some bad gypsies, like there's some
but
bad
there's some bad everything.
Yeah, in general, in Andalusia, they've integrated into society, and I can count among some of my best friends here are gypsies. So that's really where the new book, I sort of branched away from music, and when it's called Andalusia Between Dream and Reality, and it's based on very briefly on the history of Andalusia, and or certainly the parts of the history that have had a big effect, like the arrival of the Moors and the Inquisition and all these things that have affected Andalusia. And there is just a mountain of legend and myth. So that was what got me. Well, it was more of a bit of fun to start with the book. It was more for my own personal use, my own personal pleasure. But it does trace the history of Andalusia, and the book is in two halves. So the first half is basically a quick trip through the history, the important parts. And then the second half of the book is 20 legends. And I went out of my way to try to find things that English-speaking people might not have heard before, because there's a lot of stuff we know for Semana Santa and you know. But I dug very deep and I went to churches and looked through their libro de functiones for interesting people, and I think I came up with 20 quite interesting, and some of it is based on actual history. It's not all legend, which is right or which is wrong. It's very hard to talk. But if you look at the history of Andalusia, 50% of it is made up with myth and legend that nobody can really say whether it's true or not. So that's the bit that captivated me. And of course, Andalusia, I think it has this, if you open up to it, it has the ability to totally take over. And I've been here, I mean, nearly a quarter of a century. So it's my home, and I love it. There's nothing I don't like about the place, apart from the weather we've had the last week.
Do you think that people don't appreciate enough how privileged we are to be every day living history, and we're so busy with beach beds, suntan cream, and oh yeah, party, 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 that we're missing out on such a huge, not only the culinary delights of Andalusia, but as you say, everywhere you go has its own little story, its own traditions, their own little town ferias that they celebrate in different ways with their different saints and what have you. I mean, there really is so much to everything that goes on.
Well, I think it boils down to what you just said about people not learning Spanish, because if you live here and you don't speak even the basic of Spanish, you'll miss out on so much. Because, you know, once you start, and as you full well know, once you start to integrate into Spanish society, you're welcomed into it. So it's like going to the theatre to watch the opera. If you don't understand anything about opera, then it's just a noise, and you're missing a lovely, lovely part. But if you understand even just the most basic, you can enjoy it more. So if you take the time to learn a little bit of Spanish and start to find out, instead of just going to the feria, you know, to get drunk and go on the rides, find out what it's about. Get involved with the people, because I just found them the most interesting people I've ever met.
And coming up, as Tony mentioned, Semana Santa, the Holy Week, Easter, is just around the corner. Now, this can be terrifying for those who have never been to a procession, because for us it could look like the Ku Klux Klan, but do not panic. It is just the typical processions, and again, there's been so much going on. You can go to the Marbella Azul website to check out the full details. They always translate everything and give you all the routes to go through. And also, we have the town hall website, marbellaexclusive.com, that will have the full scheduling. Do you like to take part in the ferias? Will you be out at Easter? And
God, yes. That's the highlights of my year. I mean, when I first I go to Seville mainly for Easter. And of course, when I first went, we were waiting around on street corners for hours on end, and I found it totally boring. I thought, this is awful. But once I started to learn what it was all about, I'm not Catholic, but I probably know more about the Catholic religion now than I do about my own. So yes, I mean, in the ferias, I like the village ferias rather than, you know, Malaga ferias is great. If you get to the smaller ones, you get a better feel and get more involved. And yeah, we dress up, and I love it. I love and why not? I mean, it's like you say, so many people live here and don't really get involved. They miss a lot of it, you know, and I don't know, why live here if you're not going to be part of it all?
I agree. I think a lot of people only live here because of the sun, and you really are missing out. And at the end of the day, you'll want to go back because you won't know what to do with yourself. I know what you can do, though. Keep yourself entertained. Just pick up a copy of Tony's brand new book. It's his 4th book published. This one is about Andalusia and all the myths and all the legends and some bits of reality. How can we get your book?
Amazon would be the easiest place. In fact, it's probably the only place at the moment. But it's available in paperback and ebook. So Amazon.com. Good old Amazon.
I look forward to reading it.
That's very
and then
kind.
we could do a book club, and then we can do a little review and tell Tony what we thought.
Right. Okay.
No, it sounds very fascinating, and I think there are a lot of us who really do like to know these things. And it's been great to meet the man behind the columns in the sewer.
It's lovely to be here as well.
Yes.
In this beautiful place as well.
Isn't it just?
Gorgeous,
isn't it just?
Yes, yeah.
If you just tuned in, we're at Velvet. Thank you so much, Tony.
Thank you very much for having me.
Hey, hey.
Free taxi 4 times a month and 25% discount on your car insurance if you're the Zero Hero.
Yeah, I'm here in Marbella, but it says here I'm in La Canada.
If you haven't mastered the lingo, don't worry. Linear Director has a free GPS geolocator service that will come and find you. we're getting an opportunity now to meet this wonderful young lady. Her name is Liuka Love. She is an artist, a sculptor. You're just so talented and you have so much nature exuding every pore. Lovely to meet you, Liuka.
Thank you for inviting me here.
Absolute pleasure. Before we get on to this, a wonderful event that you're taking part in, you're coming to tell us about, I want to know a little bit more about you. The name is precious. I've never heard it before. Where are you from? Where's the name from?
It's a Dutch name. I'm from Holland, so my parents choose this name. But also in Holland, it's quite a unique name. So yeah,
it is. It suits you perfectly. You studied the arts, and you were studying in The Hague. Now you're living in Marbella. What happened in the middle?
In the middle, yeah, I studied in The Hague, and I was traveling a lot because I thought Holland is not really my home country. And then I came to Spain and I really felt at home, and I felt my creativity did grow and my inspiration came. And so
Here down on the coast, or have you been other places?
It's a small village in the mountains, the other side of Malaga, in the East Malaga. And I loved it there, the rhythm and the culture and the nature and tranquility, and yeah, so many qualities here. The sea, of course, the mountains. Yeah, so first I just came as a kind of artist in residence, working here, like painting, drawing. And then I thought it must be possible to live and work here and to, yeah,
I've been looking online, you have, which is a beautiful website, and I've been looking at some of your creations. And your artwork is stunning, but your sculptures have something that's so unique in the sense of this combination of animals and people. And
yeah,
for example,
often.
a man with fish on head. Where does that come from?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the ones. It's just
as a child already, I was fascinated by animals and pets and insects. I went to the zoo often to just look at them and admire all the beauty of animals. But I think a part of it is also a shamanistic vision. Like we are connected with nature, and yeah, we are close to animals and the earth. So I think I express it in my work. This connection between the animals and the human beings. Yeah.
Right, and even this sculpture here, everything's very reminiscent for me from Incas, ancient, very ethnic, very wholesome, very earthy.
Yeah, many people ask me if they see my work, have you been in Africa, have you been in Egypt or Colombia or Peru? I haven't traveled that much, but I think the inspiration is just coming from somewhere, from another universe, and I translate it through myself.
Can you explain this piece to us? Because I know that we see, well, obviously it's a beautiful piece and it's very, very soothing. But where did you come from? What were you thinking when you created?
Yeah, with this one is a special story because I saw on the television the cruel way that the monks were treated in Myanmar, in Burma. And I was so sad about it because I visited this country and I know how honest and sincere these people are. So I felt really a bit angry about how they were treated.
There's like this stoic pride.
For me, it's a kind of peaceful person who is, you know, gardening, taking care for others or his environment. So this one just came spontaneously after watching that television program.
What's involved in the process of having a vision, but obviously getting a canvas and painting is very different to creating a three-dimensional, tangible piece.
Exactly. I think with me it's just going through my hand. So if I have a piece of clay or wax, then it just comes. Sometimes I don't think. For me it's even better to not think and just let it come, open myself and feel inspiration. So with this one it was kind of massage, and then he just came up. And I'm working as long as I'm working till I see it has a special expression or till the figure is communicating with me. Yeah, so that happened with this one as well.
You could obviously put a lot of yourself into every piece.
Yeah.
How do you then bear to part with it when someone wants to buy it? Is that hard for you?
Sometimes it's difficult, yeah, but with bronze it's the advantage that you can cast more items of it. So sometimes if it's really a precious piece, I save one for myself as well.
So you get your own limited edition.
Exactly, yeah.
There's an event coming up over Easter, which will actually carry on till after Easter in Compilation, which is very close by, so no excuses, which sounds like something that's so much fun. Noelle and I have already agreed we're going to go.
Wow.
Tell us about this event, because what an wonderful, unique opportunity to go to the Galleria Luz de Vida, like the Light of Life, which I just love the name, where you're exhibiting now.
Yeah.
But there's a bunch of artists getting together and they've arranged these walks. Tell us more, because it just sounds precious.
Yeah, when I came to Competa, it has been held for 5 times, and then they stopped with it. And then I thought it's a pity. It should go on because it's a beautiful tradition, and it's a nice thing for the village as well, because it brings a lot of people and a lot of new connections between the artists as well. So now I organize it for the 5th time. And the nice thing is we open the doors, so people are welcome to visit the village, to have a nice dinner or lunch in the different restaurants that we have, but also to have a look inside in the houses and then see all the different artworks. And the nice thing is that the artists are presents, so they talk like me about their own art. So you
have
can
different
really
artists
exchange.
in different houses.
Exactly.
Is it a famous, like famously artistic town? Is that why? Because there are a lot of artists who live in Competa and it's like, hey, here's my gallery, come on in. Is that how it works?
It's a bit like that.
Like Benavis in the old days, it was like
Yeah.
everyone was an artist or sculptor.
Yeah, and art goes in, it's the same kind of. But a lot of artists do also live outside, and also we have some guest artists who are coming from Granada or Marbella, so they come from further away. So for them, we did look for other spaces so that they can also exhibit in our village.
Will this be also an
So-
opportunity to purchase the artwork, or is it just on
Yes,
show?
for sure. That's the way we survive. Yeah, in fact, the artwork does attract people who really love art and who really like to see good quality art. So, yeah, they also come from this region because they know they can see a lot of art. It's not only one artist exhibiting, it's about 35 artists. So there's lots of different artworks, sculptures, photography, paintings, drawings, many different things to see. And of course, for the artists, it's great if they can sell as well. Yeah, so sometimes at the end of the day, you see people walking with canvases or sculptures or whatever. They walk back to the car and take it home.
And the
Yeah.
nice thing is, I actually just asked Liuka off air, what kind of prices? Because I saw a beautiful, I mean, lots of the statues were beautiful, and a lot of them was amazing how much feeling and thought they do evoke. But the one you have of a mermaid with the coloured tail is just mesmerizing. So I asked her, what kind of price? And she said it was only like 1,700 euros. And I was expecting you to say like 17,000 because it is just that intricate, that delicate, and that special. So it's really not unrealistic to think that we can actually buy pieces like this for our own homes, even us mere mortals. It have to be cosmopolitan.
Exactly. Yeah, it's quite affordable. Yeah.
Well, it's wonderful to know more about this. The dates of the event are from March 31st till the 4th of April.
Yeah, and the Monday is excluded, so don't come on the Monday. That would be a pity of the whole rides. Yeah, so it's Saturday, Sunday, and then Tuesday, Wednesday.
Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but not the Monday.
Yeah.
Obviously, the details of this are all available from
on
the website
and the Facebook page, and we have the leaflet, so a lot of information in
Yes,
that one as well.
a lot of information. I mean,
Because what we didn't talk about yet is about the music event, the music gigs. Every day we will have live music of
What
good
kind of
quality.
music?
Really different. Jazz lounge music, Spanish music, kind of pop. Singer-songwriter, so it's
So you
we
can
have
really go
all
spend the
kinds of
day.
different. Exactly, you can even book a night accommodation in Competa and stay for 2 days. I know people from Marbella, we do it like that.
sounds like a nice idea.
Because we have enough good restaurants and so
And
on,
I'm-
so
and I'm
you can
looking,
have a
I mean,
good time.
just on this, seeing, first of all the people and all the artists exhibiting is impressive in itself. But then, I mean, how cute to be able to go and do these walks, go and look,
Yeah, and it's
hang
a
out,
beautiful
have
village.
dinner, try the different foods, meet the locals. I mean,
And
it
you can
really is-
even do a workshop if you would like to. We have 5 different workshops: photography, painting, sketching. So you can sign up and
So
do
it is
a
worth
few
going
hours.
and spending a few days. What a nice thing to do over Easter, for example, Easter in Competa. Not that I want you to leave Marbella. You have to go and get your tetanus jabs and everything if we're going to go. But sometimes I think it really is worthwhile us being adventurous, going out of our comfort zone, getting in a car.
Exactly.
really lovely
it
to
can
meet
be
you,
worth
Luca.
it. Thank you for
We'll
inviting
definitely
me.
be there, and please do keep us informed, because
I
I know
will.
that we have a very big following of cultural activities in our communities. Just finding out when they're on and telling your friends, pass it on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, hey.
We get a lot of people contacting us who have had terrible experiences with holiday rentals. Now, unfortunately, that isn't limited to holiday rentals. There are people who go for long-term rents and find themselves in quite a predicament. It's important to take into consideration that even if a contract, a lease contract, is written in English and Spanish, it is only the Spanish version that will be accepted in court. So if you do not speak Spanish yourself, I hate to say this, but please do not put your faith that the estate agent who is renting you that contract has actually made sure that the translations are the same. And it would seem that there are certain clauses that are quite ambiguous, even if you do speak a bit of the language, and can actually have you commit yourself to be responsible for repairs that should be up to the landlord and not up to you. So please, if you are going to sign anything, get the contract looked over first. Otherwise, you could find yourself, as I say, in quite a predicament. Also, when you're going to rent, look and see what kind of electricity contract they have. You might find out that only one thing works at a time because of the kind of contract they have, and obviously increasing the potency of that contract will increase your charges. It's important to see there's water pressure, how much water comes out. There is a long list. Get yourself expert advice, but when it comes to signing a contract, it is fundamental that if you do not speak Spanish, and even if you speak Spanish, that you get someone who really knows to go over it, because Spanish is very backwards to English, for example, and it can be ambiguous, it can be confusing. And then another point, which is the final one, if in doubt, don't do anything. When people are pressurizing you and forcing you to do something and give you time limits, if you don't sign today, you're going to lose it. When someone pressurizes you, that is when you need to really take a deep breath and sit back and look at things calmly, because it's very easy to make a mistake when we're under pressure, and some people actually use that as a tactic, far too many. Take care out there. Remember, before you sign anything, get someone to check it over who knows what they're doing.
And as time flies by, you'll open up your eyes wide.
Hello, I'm Ryan Litchell from Lauderdale San Pedro. Last week's sign was protein shake. One more time, protein shake. This week's sign, not only to promote healthy lifestyle, we are going to promote friendship. So this week's sign is one love. One more time, one love.
And as time flies by, you'll open up your eyes wide. You feel it.
Hey, let's bring it up, everybody. We have 1 million acts of kindness to accomplish this year, and we can't do it alone. We're going to need to work together. Our motto is to be kind. Everything we do, everything we say, thinking of others. All those moments of charity, time helping our neighbors. We can't reach 1 million without doing it together. It's about making a difference. We might be small, but we can be mighty. We can use kindness to change the world. Our parents and teachers support us, but we have to give them everything we got. We have to work together every moment, every day, to reach 1 million. Kindness on 3, together on 6. 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 6. It's all us.
When Dorota Rosmer has been on the program before, we've been talking about her healing voice, the amazing channeling that she's done with her all that singing talent that she's got. However, there is another side to Dorota, which is actually where you started off, which is as a singer and a performer, and you play the piano beautifully. Have you got like proper formation in music? How did this all start?
I am a master of jazz singing, which is I finished music conservatorium in Poland, and I major in vocal performance. So I've been doing this for many years, and singing, doing around the world and doing some concerts. And I love playing my piano and sing all kinds of jazzy kind of music. I love it. I love it.
I love it too. Dorota's been playing for us here in Velvet, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, Dorota, we had no idea that apart from this voice, as you say, your jazz voice, that has become now a healing voice. And it is something I think that's hard for a lot of us to come to understand, how important vibration is, whether it's our tone of voice talking, what we say, and listening to music. How does that heal us?
Well, you see, when I discovered jazz, it was the freedom for me, because I could do whatever I wanted with my voice. It wasn't any restriction to how I supposed to sing and how I supposed to take out my
The improvisation.
And what I want to speak through the sound. So it all works together very well, because I can express something that doesn't come through the mind. It just comes from the heart, and the musicians do it all the time. But with the healing is that I combined the energy and knowing how to work with the energy vibration to put through the sound some information, because this is really quantum information what I do. But it is the same when I play happy music. It is also an information of something lovely and nice for people, just to share.
And that's what's the nice thing. I mean, who of us doesn't, when we're feeling sad or romantic, and we go and put on music that makes us feel more sad or more romantic? It's important to choose what kind of vibration. And if you're feeling a bit down, the last thing we really should be doing is putting on that kind of vibe. We need to lift it up, and you have that gift of knowing how to, you feel the imbalance, I suppose, of the vibrations.
Yes, and you see, it's important also for me that even though I play sometimes very soft music, but what comes through is important. Some musicians sharing the sadness also through music. So for me, it is important to share the heart and to share the love and to share what I would like people to feel, like I associate sounds with the colors, for example. So that's why over the rainbow, for example, the music is like, even if I don't speak the words, through the sound, I feel that I'm sharing the rainbow with you, yes, and I'm sharing the beauty of the planet. And you know, it's all about how you feel and how you want to create your feeling without your words. So you're standing next to somebody and you can just share, like you can just share.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here now, and as you said, there's some people that just have a feeling about them, an aura, and without a doubt, Dorota does. It's a fabulous feeling sitting next to you. If you want to meet Dorota, you should definitely call her, not only just for the healing sessions that she does with her voice, which is quite amazing, and I give testament to that myself, but why don't we let you give testament as well, because that song you were just saying, Somewhere Over the Rainbow, is, I think, one of my favourites and many. Could you just tinkle a little bit for us, and I'll get out your way and give you the stall to yourself?
Of course.
Okay, let's listen to a little bit of Somewhere Over the Rainbow with Dorota.
Okay, thank you. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly. Somewhere over the rainbow, stars are blue. Somewhere over the rainbow, dreams come true. Your dreams can come, your dreams will come true.
If you only have 24 hours in a day, your success is dependent upon how you use the 24. You gotta hear me. People talk about Oprah Winfrey, Ted Turner, Warren Buffett. Listen to me. I don't care how much money you make. You only get 24 hours in a day. And the difference between Oprah and the person that's broke is Oprah uses her 24 hours wisely. That's it. Listen to me. That's it. You get 24. I don't care if you broke, you grew up broke. I don't care if you grew up rich. I don't care if you're in college, you're not in college. You only get 24 hours. And I blew up literally. I went from being a high school dropout to selling 6,000 books in less than 6 months. What happened? In my 24 hours. I was like, okay, Eric, you got to get a grip on your 24 hours because you're about to be broke for the rest of your life. And that's all I need you to do for me. I can tell you all about your life if you just write down your 24-hour schedule for me and you let me look at it. I can tell you where you're going to be in 5 years. I can tell you where you're going to be in 10 years. I can tell you where you're going to be in 20 years if you keep that schedule.
James is our local art dealer. He is an amazing human being. He's got such a fabulous history himself. I don't know whether to call him Lord, Sir, or Your Royal Highness, because you have that much integration of culture, history yourself.
Anything will do.
But it is lovely, but you have such a colourful career, probably as colourful and as detailed as the paintings that you like to study. So it's nice to have James pop in now and then to give us like one of these anecdotes from your past. I mean, your story with Muhammad Ali, for example. I mean, the people that you've met is just mind-boggling.
I've been very lucky. I mean, there aren't many professions where you meet so many interesting people and also have a lot of fun.
So what gem have you got for this week?
Well, I don't know about gem, but after a couple of years at Sotheby's, I joined Sotheby's as a porter with the intention that when something came up in one of the departments, they would put me into that. Well, they did, but it was porcelain. Now, much as I admire sort of pieces of delicate Meissen and lovely little shepherds and shepherdesses, I can't get terribly enthusiastic about them. And so just across the road was an art dealer called Wildenstein. And I wanted to work with pictures, but the picture department in Sotheby's was the most popular, and there was obviously no way I was going to get into that. So I walked across the road to Wildenstein's and managed to get myself a job. I was the youngest salesman they'd had by 20 years, because I was 21 at the time, and they said they don't normally have young men as salesmen, but be that as it may.
Enthusiasm came through, obviously.
I suppose so. But I was back in Sotheby's in a week's time, but in a rather different role. We had a buyer called LaRue Smith LaRue, and he had his own chair in Sotheby's sales, and he was always in that chair. And there was a picture coming up by a Sienese artist, dated around 1450, called Lorenzo Monaco. Very rare picture, but it was one of a set of 4. And it was known that Wildenstein owned the other 3, and so all the other dealers knew that Wildenstein had to be interested in this picture. And there's a lot of jealousy and rivalry in the art business, and we knew we were going to get pushed. And so LaRue was sent into his normal seat in the front, and I was sent right at the back. And I was just told to buy the picture. No limit whatsoever. Buy it.
How old were you?
21.
Wow. Back then.
I'd never bid at auction. And the picture before came up, and I felt my knees going weak, and I thought, oh my God, I'm going to faint. And when I come round, the picture will have been sold, and I'll have lost my job. But fortunately, managed to pull myself together and bought the picture, which now resides in the Metropolitan Museum of New York alongside the other 3.
Can I ask how much it was purchased for?
I got it for £48,000.
But which back then?
In 1962 was a very considerable amount of money. I mean, you're talking about, I suppose, the equivalent of $500,000 today.
What is amazing is that being so new in the job and it being such an important purchase, that they would have even entrusted you in the first place. I mean, obviously you've always had this impressive air about you. That,
I don't know if I had it at 21, but...
So what did you do? Were you lifting up your bidding thing, or how
They
did you
didn't
do
have paddles in those days. You just bid. And you hadn't had to register or anything, which is why, obviously, they had to change it later, because one sale I was at, again at Sotheby's, one man bought, about 10 of the first 30 lots and underbid several of the others. And it turned out that he was on day release from a mental institution, and he hadn't got 2 pennies to rub together, which caused absolute chaos, because the people that had bought pictures where he was the underbidder felt that they had been hard done by, because they wouldn't have had to pay that much money. And
right, obviously drawing that price way up without
pushing prices up, and it was chaos.
Is it fun?
Yes. Yeah, it can be real fun. But another one I did with Wildenstein was quite amusing. It was an impressionist sale, and I was given a limit of £32,000 to buy a picture by Lucien Pizarro, and which I duly bid for, and bought for £45,000. So I get back, and Leonard Foster, the manager, said, how'd you get on? Oh, bought the picture. Oh, good. How much for? 45,000. Oh. Mr. George Wildenstein, that is, the boss, is in Paris at the moment. You'd better ring him and tell him. I'd gone £15,000 over my limit. And so I rang him, went through the whole rigmarole again. How much? 45,000. How much I tell you to go to? 32,000, Mr. George. Mm-hmm. I said, but it is a very, very good picture. Yeah, you're right. Went the phone. Never heard another word.
And did it sell after that? Or make a nice profit?
I'm sure it did, but you see, we had galleries in Paris, Buenos Aires, New York, and London. So wherever we bought a picture, we never sold it in the same country.
Did you get to travel to the other galleries?
No. No, not at that time. I got to travel a lot later, but no, one was purely in London in those days.
An anecdote for another day. As I say, you never know who you're standing next to or sitting next to in Marbella. James will be joining us because we've decided that you do need to know what's going on in our city before it happens. And James is going to try and give us the heads up, at least for our cultural events, because they're very much wanted by the community. And once again, if we don't share that they're on, how are we going to get to go? We wouldn't want to miss out. James, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Always entertaining.
Thank you.
Dismissed from drama school with a note that read, "Wasting her time. She's too shy to put her best foot forward." Turned down by the Decca Recording Company, who said, "We don't like their sound and guitar music is on the way out." A failed soldier, farmer, and real estate agent. At 38 years old, he went to work for his father as a handyman. Cut from the high school basketball team, he went home, locked himself in his room, and cried. A teacher told him he was too stupid to learn anything, and he should go into a field where he might succeed by virtue of his pleasant personality. Fired from a newspaper because he lacked imagination and had no original ideas. His fiancée died, he failed in business twice, he had a nervous breakdown, and he was defeated in 8 elections. If you've never failed, you've never lived.
April 2018 at 10 o'clock in the morning, we'll be opening the doors for our 3rd United Nationalities of Marbella Summit. For 2 years, we've already gone through issues that affect our local community. Just by foreigners living in a foreign country creates issues that maybe only affect us. And although we have a very competent and very involved town hall, things do slip through the cracks, which we can actually resolve amongst our community. Remedios is one of the committee members for the United Nationalities of Marbella Summit, and she's been helping us the last 2 years get this far, which has been a wonderful achievement. Above all, seeing how people really are enthusiastic about doing what they can. And obviously, if you've got kids, you're interested in those. If you've got a message to share, you're interested in that. But there is a lot of interest in this event, and we hope you come. Things that are going to be discussed this year, the things we want to put solutions to, Remedios. One of the main ones is the communication or lack of communication along our 27-kilometer coastline.
Those 2 years have been very interesting to hear different comments from people, how they feel, because you know there are so many nationalities in this area. You know people individually, but then you have the feeling that the lack of connection among them. And then on the other hand, you have town halls trying to do things, but sometimes you feel they are not taking into account all those comments, all those opinions, feelings. And
how can they, when there are 137 nationalities, with all of us have such different needs or expectations even?
Yes, so finally, after 2 years, we have a number of issues that we can focus to find solutions for them. And that's the aim of this year. And for people who get very isolated because of age, because they don't have friends, because their families are in other countries, we have very good proposals for young people with this proposal for the Zero Hero. It's so interesting for young people who don't want to drink alcohol and offer to drive for the ones who are enjoying in a group. So that's very interesting, because you know the risk of drinking alcohol and then driving. And for charities using restaurants in low season to organize their events, that's a very good initiative. So we have a number of initiatives that can help people and businesses, and that, I think, it's the perfect combination this year.
I do too. And this year we're also, well, we're carrying on with our interest in our children, not just finding out hangout spaces for our teens, safe places for those 13 to 17-year-olds. We're looking to incorporate the orphans from the orphanages in Malaga into our community, because we have a lot of people here who do not have families, a lot of problems when you get older, not having that family circle to support you. But people do tend in Marbella to create their own little families amongst their friends. So how lovely that we can look to incorporate children that are now too old for the orphanage, but need to have a future and something to look forward to, and hopefully people watching out for them. And what better place than Marbella? So another nice connection is what businesses can incorporate these kids to get them into a community and give them a position.
There are two important ways that the schools can get involved as well, and that's something I have been doing in the past. On the one side, you have work experience. Young people need to have work experience before they go to university. So students in secondary school, they are very interested in doing work experience, and we have many businesses interested to offer places for them for 2-3 weeks of experience or even longer periods. And you have also the connection between young people and elderly people. I have been developing that kind of projects, young people from schools visiting elderly people in residences or in their private home. They get very isolated and they feel so happy, and it's so positive for them when they have visitors, when they have young people visiting them and spending time with them. And it's something you can feel how young people enjoy visiting elderly people and spending time with them. It's that connection is incredible, and that's something we can develop with the schools as well.
Exactly. It's just getting communication going, creating a grapevine when things are going on, letting people know that they're going on. And we want to let you know that on the 24th of April 2018, from 10 in the morning till 2:30 in the afternoon, we will be interacting. It is a community meeting for the community. There will be afterwards a cocktail lunch if you want to take part in that. A very good moment to network with the consuls who are coming, the heads of the schools, owners and marketing directors of the main restaurants, groups, cinemas, sports clubs. In fact, this is something for all the movers and shakers. If you've got something going on in Marbella, let's connect you with other people who've got things going on so that we can really shake it up.
Yeah, for any kind of business. People who want to show what they can offer, their services, I said last week, lawyers or economists, people that can give you some service, advice, guidance, they should be interested in attending, because it's an opportunity for networking and connecting nationalities. I think it's interesting for any kind of business.
Exactly. So if you've got the interest of others at heart, as well as your own, of course, we don't expect you to forget yourself. UNMN 2018, put the date in your diaries, 24th of April 2018. Remedios, thank you.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Oh, what would I do without you? On the 14th of February, I had the honour of having an exclusive interview with our British consul, Charmaine Arbuin. And a lot of that conversation was centred around people like me, who are over 50 and are now immigrants in another country, particularly with the Brexit nigh. It's a date that's coming close. And it would seem, as Linda Woodin knows all too well, who's volunteered with Age Concern Marbella San Pedro, that those of us who are getting older on the Costa del Sol and maybe don't have family or a circle of friends to support us if anything happens to us, maybe just age in itself, that we need assistance. This is something, Linda, I can only congratulate you, Tom, all the team, Stephen, for the effort that you're putting into not only creating Age Concern, making it a special Marbella San Pedro division, but what goes into getting the volunteers, knowing who needs the help.
Huge amount of work. And sorry, because we've just recently got our SIF number, thank heavens, we can now actually go forward. But what I found is that there seems to be a little bit of resistance in people getting involved with Age Concern, because they say, oh, that's for old people, that's for old people. No, it's for every age to look and see if they can help the older people.
Well, a lot of things are culturally based, and we don't realise that by living abroad we actually do change circumstances, and things we're used to in our own country are not the norm maybe in Spain. We were even saying before about shaking hands and kissing. It's a very British thing, an American thing to shake hands, and yet for someone from South Africa or for someone from Spain, it's that immediate hug and the 2 kisses, and if you're Dutch there's 3 kisses. A lot of it comes down to culture. Now, one of the main problems that the British consul pointed out is that, for example, in Spain, the healthcare system and the hospitals depend largely on the family support group. And many of the doctors and nurses can't understand when a foreigner gets ill why their family aren't flying over, taking them home, moving over here, doing something to support them. Because the Spanish way of life is very family orientated. Kids live at home till they're 30, 35, till they get married. Whereas in England, for example, at 18, everyone's out and you're expected to live in your own place and to be independent. So the cultural differences for foreigners getting old in Spain, we're not ready for the challenges that are really we're going to face.
And one of them is exactly what you've just been talking about, which is when they go into hospital, normally the Spanish people will go and actually stay with that person that's in hospital. And it's expected that a member of the family or close member of that particular person will go and take care of them because they haven't got the right amount of staff themselves. And of course, British people and colonials do not have that culture. And of course, it's very different for them. And if they don't have anybody here, they've got to look at a neighbour that they know or speak to a friend and say, can you help me?
So really, more than United Nationalities of Marbella, we need to become the United Families of Marbella. This is very much in line with our effort to now insert, for example, the orphans from Malaga, instead of them just going onto the street or being a child in Malaga, because we have this culture of a lot of people not having families here, and we tend to make our own little family groups. They would be best suited to coming to work here in our community and finding this little niche with that family support. When we get older, it's the same thing. It's crossing over now the ages to see how we can help each other. How can we help get age concern up and
really running? Well, the most important thing, obviously, is to get volunteers of every age to come and sign up. It's not difficult. All you do is phone on the helpline or get hold of one of the members of the committee, and we have a form that you fill in that then gets checked out just to make sure that everything is in order, and you'll be given a little badge which actually allows you then to go and visit a person that is in need of care or help or something along those lines. And also anybody that you know, like your next door neighbours, slightly frail, and you suddenly see that they're not able to really look after themselves any longer, give us a call, because we'll go there, assess them, and then take them on as almost as patients, really, I suppose. And if they are in a very bad state, we'll get hold of the consul of the country that they come from and get them repatriated back to their families, or make alternative arrangements so we can take care of them. You know, many of them are very ill, and of course they can't travel anymore, so they need to be taken to somewhere like a hospice or
and then that
whatever.
has to be paid for.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just so many factors to take into consideration, and I think when we're young and healthy, these things are not on our radar. But one of the things we can't avoid going by is time, and it's something that is going to happen.
We're all going to get
to us all. One of the things that I see very difficult is when people have said to me, oh, I've got to go visit someone in hospital, there's no one to see him, or so-and-so isn't well, and I've said, call age concern. They want the person who needs it to call age concern. The person who needs it doesn't want to call age concern.
Because they don't feel old.
Or they don't feel frail, or they don't want to ask for help, or they feel like it's asking for charity, or there's so many ors. How are we going to overcome this one? This seems like quite a challenge.
Well, I think the first thing we need to do is look at ourselves. We are whatever age we are. What can we do to help these people and educate them that age concern is not about being old and wrinkly. It's about looking after people who are slightly more mature than yourself.
Or who are not well.
Yes.
Because you could be 50-something and not well and not be able to get out and get medicine. These are the things, or do you know what I mean? You don't want to be stuck inside for a week dying.
But you don't even have to be 50. You can be in your 40s
or even during pregnancy. I mean, you never know when you might need somebody to help. And I think that's what really age concern there. Going back to funding, you do all kinds of little events. Tell us about how you set up age concern to get the money in.
Right, we'll have approximately 6 events in a year, and hopefully in the summer we have wonderful weather. We can actually have lunches, and We do raffles and auctions and that type of thing. And also we're looking at doing an enormous event, probably in about 18 months' time, where we're having an international band coming over, concert, etc., etc. Very similar to what other particular charities that are doing here now. And we'll probably invite about 180 people. And obviously we won't overcharge. And we hope that you all come along and do your bit and get a table together, you know, at all the little events. But what we do have is every month on a Thursday, we have a coffee morning. And that means anybody who'd like to come along, potential volunteers, existing people who are aged, all sorts of people, anyone can come along to the paddle tennis place, I don't know what it's called, and have a coffee and have a chat. You don't have to be frail to come to it.
And in fact, it's nice if you're not, it's just to make friends and get a support circle.
The committee will be there, and any questions that you need answered, we'll be able to do that for you. And we meet as a committee once a month and see where we're going forward. And what is very exciting, we have a very kind donor who has given us a lot of money in order to develop the website now.
Oh, congratulations.
So, which is brilliant, really. And that we're working on at the moment. And we're hoping to get the schools, the children that are working on IT, to become involved in the development of that website. And they're very excited, all the school children.
Well, that is exciting.
Yeah.
And talking about websites, the British Consul has actually launched a website dedicated to the over 50s, although it is, again, a support system supporting as well age concern. And that is supportinspain.info, supportinspain.info. And there you will find a compilation of all the services that they know of that are there in the Costa del Sol to support people who need it. Visits in hospitals, shopping, going and buying a prescription, even just popping in for a chat. Now, I went into the web and it had Age Concern San Pedro Marbella. And even though Linda and the British Consul were together in a tertulia round table that we did, and they know about it, the difficulty of communication in our busy lives has meant that although the information is there, the phone number is missing. So, Linda, you need to get in touch with the British Consul on the web and let them know what the helpline number is.
Yes.
And I think it's just a great example that, as James Carl was saying, that even when we want to communicate and we're in touch, it's hard to get the message across. And that's why we need to be interactively communicating and doing our best to actually get the message. I can say one thing, you may understand another. So we need to really keep in touch so that we can make sure that the message is being not only transmitted, but received, and that then we can move forward.
Well, also, the British Consul have been fantastic, by the way. However, the other consuls need to get involved as well with age concern, because it's not just aimed at English-speaking people.
Well, the wonderful thing is, sorry to interrupt you, but at the United Nationalities Summit on the 24th of April, there will be a large participation by those consuls. As you will be there, this is the moment that we are going to, I've done this little Venn diagram, join all the dots, connect everybody up so that there's an opportunity to put into practice throughout the community these incentives that are being done by you and so many other wonderful people on the coast.
Fantastic, really fantastic.
Yes.
And we really appreciate you for alerting people to the fact that we do have Marbella and San Pedro Age Concern charity now officially here.
But now it's up to you to pass it on.
Yes.
Otherwise, what good is it? So if each one of us tells a few people we meet, then obviously we will get that message across, but it does mean we have to all get involved. Have we covered it all for the update at the moment?
I think so, I think so. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks, I'll be able to give you some very exciting news.
Oh gosh, exciting, yes. So, I'm not sure, I like knowing in the moment, but yes, watch this space. Linda Woodin, thank you so much.
Thank you
and
as
Age
well.
Concern, thank you very much. Free taxi 4 times a month and 25% discount on your car insurance if you're the zero hero. Wearing a seatbelt is fundamental. Even braking suddenly at 7 kilometers an hour, your body will be thrust forward with the equivalent weight of 3 to 5 tons. That's like throwing yourself off headfirst of a 3-story building. We wouldn't want to do that. We certainly wouldn't do that out of choice. Now, when you're pregnant, a lot of people choose not to wear the seatbelt because it's true that the lower belt can actually hurt your uterus or even damage the fetus. However, there is an adapter now available that is a cushion that goes on your car seat, and when you get in the car, what you do is you put your seatbelt on as you would normally. So you put your seatbelt on, and now you're sitting on your special seatbelt adapter, and then you take the part that's between the legs, which is the optimum position to put the belt, so it's below your uterus, it's below the baby, and if any pressure is exerted in case of sudden braking, it will not hurt you or the baby. But it is fundamental that you wear a seatbelt, because if you don't, you're risking your lives, your baby's life, and that of anyone else who is with you in the car or around you if you go through that windscreen. It's fundamental. Seatbelt first, but when you wear it correctly. And in pregnancy, it's very important to position that belt below the bump so you're all safe. Thank you for joining us this week. It's been fun to have you with us at Velvet. It is a great place, one of the very few that has a pianist during dinner that then livens up as the night goes on, and then you get DJs, sax players, just a lot of fun, no need to go anywhere else. And that's what we look for. One place to go and have a good evening, particularly at my age. You youngsters like to go from place to place. That's also fun. And that's the beauty of Marbella. There is something for everyone. And we hope to share that with you here on Marbella Now, whether it's for social reasons or business reasons. This is what our intention is, to get you together so we can empathize, get to know each other better. 137 nationalities living in harmony in just 27 kilometers coastline. Check out our web, marbellanowtv.com, for information and recordings of the show, the radio, my column in the Euro Weekly, and of course, the upcoming United Nationalities of Marbella Summit 2018 on the 24th of April. We hope to see you there. Bye for now. Take care of yourselves. Be nice to each other.